All right, and we are back, and we are live at the Microsoft MTC studio.
Man,
I'm
look
here.
at that skyline.
It's amazing, right? We can look right outside and see rain. But you folks get to see a nice looking backdrop. So once again, I'm Chris Gomez. I'm here with Jeff Fritz, who was our guest tonight at Philly.net, and many of you watching either replay or live know him from your Twitch stream at C# Fritz.
That's me.
And you've had a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
Pair programming for over a year now.
Gosh, we're
Close to 2?
No, we're into about 18 months.
Okay. Okay, so right there, 18 months.
Keep me honest.
It's a ton of fun, and I love showing up and watching that awesome community. So you should make sure you check it out at twitch.tv/C#Fritz. You got to spell all that out.
Yeah, you do.
But it is all one word. There's no dashes.
No dashes, no underscores, no hyphens.
I'm stuck with Space Shot TV on Twitch right now. We'll see if maybe I can get the TV lopped off.
Yeah, lop that off.
We also have Rich Ross behind the camera producing the show as always, and every Wednesday or every week we get together and talk, whether there's a Philly.net meetup or not, about local tech issues that we think are interesting to developers. So tonight we heard a lot about the future of .net, future of Visual Studio. We had some great questions in the chat.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And there are some things that, one of the reasons why we started this show, Jeff, is because after the meetup, the conversation in the parking lot just evaporates into the ether, and it sometimes is the best part of the night.
It is.
And that's exactly why we're here.
Yeah.
So we had some talk after the meetup tonight about some of the things that were mentioned, and everybody's excited about Blazor.
Oh, yes.
Blazor is a lot of things. It's kind of a mouthful term, right? It is a component-based web framework.
Yes.
It's also, although you might say that that's Razor component, and that's okay. I know the naming is hard, and it's also how you host it, whether it's server side or client side.
Yes.
So that component-based model, there was a conversation that broke out about how they really like that component-based model. It seems inspired by things like React or Vue,
web forms,
or even a little like web forms, except the way that you can compose them.
Yes.
And that's
you can do that with web forms too.
Well, and I know you're the expert on that. I mean,
I've done a thing or two with web forms.
Yeah, modern web forms. We always knew to go to Jeff to say, let's stop. Your web forms app shouldn't be 1.0 anymore.
No.
Let's do some modern
Let's
things
do model
like
binding
and model binding. Yeah.
Yes. Lose the model states, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Forget that.
So one question that came up was, and I thought I kind of sort of knew an answer here, was if I like Razor component, but I also like maybe one of the other frameworks like MVC or Razor Pages, can I use them together?
Sure.
And so tutorials on that, maybe a little light, maybe coming, because as of right now I said, I'm pretty sure that's the answer.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure I could show you.
No, it's coming. It's really a question of right now we're in previews, right? And these are the types of things that we want to make sure are locked down and are ready when we have educational material ready to go when that release happens in September, right? You always want to have good educational material at the point of release, and as we're in these previews, we're gonna experiment. We're gonna hear what developers want to learn, what they want to try, how you want to adapt your current applications, your current thinking, and how do you want to compose things. Does it make sense to use Razor Pages with client-side Blazor? Does it make sense would you prefer to use client-side Blazor with static web pages, or be able to lift those and put them into PHP applications, Ruby applications, Node? Take your pick, it's up to you. Yeah. There's a lot of different options there, and that's the beauty of having a preview time frame like this, when we can interact and we can have those discussions and figure out, well, which way do we steer the framework, and where do we need to spend our time educating folks?
Right. And so we try to do little demos here on the show. So I think that's one that we've got locked down, is that we'll push at the edges of Blazor as they get into the preview and as we start to understand it. We've got a segment we like to do that we just call 15 minutes of code, although we don't know if it's going to be 5 or 20 or 30. One time it was 45, but we're just saying, hey, let's tackle something small, and then we'll get back to the talk. So,
Chris, I'm reminded between MVC, the model view controller framework that we have with ASP.NET Core, Razor Pages, SignalR, and now Blazor. Didn't we just do this in like 2012 and call it one ASP.NET?
Yes.
Didn't we just do this?
But now we're getting one.NET eventually.
Well, we're getting one.NET. Okay, so you're referring to...
But that's a different...
That's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But I feel like one ASP.NET needs to become a thing again.
Again. Right, we just had it, and we're back to it. So, you know...
Man, that is a great view.
So a couple people lamented...
I'm sorry. I'm just
okay. Well,
dazzled.
Isn't it amazing?
I just appreciate that. It's amazing.
Yeah, and Rich has some other ones too.
Well, other ones? What are you talking about? There's only one.
Look,
there's only one Philadelphia back there.
Well, this is the amazing thing about live stream / television, right? Is
what?
Sometimes it's like we can get instantly teleported. Let's see,
magically
or
semi-instantly.
And look, he wasn't ready for this at all. We're putting him on the spot.
So a friend of mine on Twitch here. I have a friend who's building games using Unity, and she's built this amazing cityscape on her stuff. There you go, pulled back a little bit. You can see the amazing complex here in Malvern, Pennsylvania.
And it's like we got teleported to a different. Like now, look at it. It's different out there. It's like we got another building.
No, it's different camera angle. Totally different camera angle, Chris. I don't lie to them.
The room goes the other way, and
yeah, the camera.
Okay.
This is camera 2. I'd say. So no, a friend of mine on Twitch, she's building video games using Unity, and she's got these amazing cityscapes that in her game. And whenever she starts the game and she starts flying around, and it looks like just like what it looks like outside there, but on the other side of those windows, if you were back on camera 1, how it looked.
Sure.
There it is, back on camera 1. See, different camera angle. It's completely different, not entirely the same at all.
And Unity and Unreal Engine have taken a real interest in where we're going with .NET.
They have.
.NET Core. I mean, Unity's been dependent on Mono for a very long time.
Certainly.
It was their way to get C# into the product. And then in order to advance to newer features, I think they have taken .NET Core as a dependency. I could be wrong.
No, Unity is still on Mono.
Okay.
But .NET 5, when that lands, is going to significantly help Unity.
Okay.
Unity has taken the latest versions of Mono that are influenced by .NET Core.
Gotcha. Right.
It's not the same yet. It's not merged like we're seeing is going to happen with .NET Core. But it's been heavily influenced. The folks at the Xamarin Group, Miguel and his team have done some tremendous things there. They've worked with the .NET teams to improve the garbage collector, to improve some of the other great features that are in Mono, so that those developers can start benefiting from it now. But when we get to the .NET Core 5 model, it's just going to take off.
Yeah. So like, it's funny. We were looking at the different views, and one of our awesome fans who's always here, Skull Crusher for Life, who I think is
we've met Skull Crusher.
Yeah. It says the top office of Microsoft Philly can teleport to different locations. It's a beta feature.
Sure, it's a beta. You don't get this at those Google offices, but here at Microsoft Office, works fine.
Yeah, so I was excited to see that they said Unreal Engine is coming along for the ride too. .NET Core.
That's a topic I haven't seen yet, but
it was just in the build talk, and that's
okay.
I know as much as what was in the slide.
Okay.
So it's really neat to see that we announced the announcement was from Build was we're hearing that hey we're gonna try to get back to the one.NET and to immediately see folks like both Unity and Unreal say that's what we need. That's pretty cool. But for web developers and a lot of the folks who either watch this or watch Philly.net, there was a lot more talked about at Build than just .NET.
Certainly.
A slew of Azure announcements.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We talked a few about of them here. The Azure Cognitive Services features looked amazing.
It's like Azure Cognitive Services 2.0.
Yeah.
All of the existing services have kind of leveled up. Some really great stuff happening there that I'm excited to dig into. I use a number of the cognitive services on my stream to provide different features, different points of information, to inspect things that are going on in the chat room, to provide like next level chat support, right? And I can't wait to try out some of those new features.
Well, you mentioned the sentiment analysis. I've also seen, so you use, I've also seen folks who type into the chat something, this is a common streamer issue, is they'll type into the chat either maybe what are you working on or what are you doing here, and you answer that question 10,000 times as a streamer, and I've seen your bot just pop right up and say maybe what you're asking is
oh my
Jeff
gosh,
is working on this project. That is cognitive services.
That is cognitive services. That we built that on a show with
Yeah.
the Rich Ross.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And where it's hooked up to a service called Q&A Builder.
Maker.
Q&A Maker, that's it.
Yep.
And it saves those off, and I have it rebuild every time that there's a change to my wiki on GitHub.
Yeah, which is pretty. I mean, that integration is really nice, and some of the things when we talk to customers about that is an interesting way an example to kind of show how you can use something that's more front ended to a business person potentially, right?
Oh yeah.
And let them just go ahead and create the questions.
Create that Q&A, create that FAQ. Gosh, marketing people, they know how to build out an FAQ, but to load that into something like a cognitive services and be able to tune that so that it answers questions similarly and properly, they've got a tool now that they can use and deliver a really good bot to the viewers in my case or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's a good intro certainly a good intro for doing a bot and a good use case across whatever it is you're doing.
Absolutely.
So we did get a question about how, and unfortunately, let's see what you folks know about it. Is so Azure's done a great job coming out with emulators to allow local development. Are there any new emulators coming out that you're excited about?
I don't know of any.
The machine
I don't work
learning
with
stuff, is that?
That's not really an emulator.
That's not really, right, okay.
No.
You would just go push that.
You would just deploy your model with ML.NET and then scale it appropriately using Kubernetes on the backside.
Okay.
Or you can use the various model management things with TensorFlow on Azure if that's where you want to work, and deploy and let Azure do its thing. Cosmos DB emulator,
it's been around for a while.
It's another database. Yeah, that's not interesting. When I think of a cool emulator I want to use locally that emulates something in the cloud, there's nothing that lights me up right now. It's like, okay, I can run Kubernetes locally. All right. The cognitive services stuff, okay.
What about the functions?
Okay, Azure Functions is kind of neat to run clients, to run locally and be able to trigger and debug and walk through them and all that. All right, I can buy that. It's not one that I'm excited about. It's not one going, I need to go make some functions now.
Right.
Functions, I think, have a great place where, it feels very piecemeal, and gosh, I started working on a project about a month ago using the actor model with .NET using Akka. And the more and more that I work with the actor model as a programming framework, right? Programming structure, and Akka in particular, I feel like I'm building just a series of Azure functions that communicate to each other, and they're passing messages around, and they're saying, oh, we need to start and maintain a reference to this thing. It's similar, but because I've gotten into the actor model, I look at functions now and I'm like, well, so what?
Okay.
And that's me. That's my experience.
Sure,
Your mileage may vary, but I've gotten really interested in the actor model recently, and we've been doing that on my channel, extending our chatbot so that we can manage multiple channels.
Okay.
Right. When you think about functions, when I need to make my functions now behave multi-tenant, because the functions are so disconnected across various applications, various data centers, et cetera, to make those behave in a multi-tenant fashion, well, I have to write the same tenant management things into every function.
Right.
That becomes a little tedious.
That's just part of the actor model and part of actor.net.
Yes.
So I think what you're kind of describing is a state management for actor, and I'm not familiar with it, so.
Well, at the top level, I can start up a different collection of actors for each tenant, right? So I could say, all right, here's my tenant management actor up at the top. In my case, I'm managing chatbots per channel on Twitch. So I want one bot instance per channel that it's managing. So I'm going to start up, here's the bot for Jeff's channel. Here's the bot for the Philly.net channel. Well, those are two different objects, and I need to maintain those isolated in memory from each other, maybe even on separate processes, depending on how busy that Philly.net group gets. Because I couldn't believe, there were thousands of people here tonight. It was amazing.
Unbelievable.
The arena was filled.
We should have showed it.
Yeah.
We're here at the top of Microsoft Philly. There were 20 floors below us that were full of people.
Overflow rooms.
Overflow rooms. The 700 level was strong tonight. Okay.
It was great. It was good. We had a good crowd and a lot of good questions and
You needed to be here.
Yeah. You do need
Can
to
somebody clip that? Anyways, so no. But when you need to manage those separately, because you are gonna have one channel, in my case, that's going to be, significantly larger, doing a lot more things. Or if you're in the case of managing things for different organizations, you'll have a tenant that's maybe an oil company, right? And they've got huge amount of resources they're using. And you have another tenant that's maybe a mom and pop shop. It's a small diner or something, and they're both using your payment processing application. You're going to want to have those managed either not just in separate memory, but maybe even in separate processes. And the actor model lets you do that and deploy and manage those with great logic separately. If I'm doing that with functions, I've now got to deploy all that tenant management technology and isolation separately and do all that processing in each function instead of having it as a concise layered application like I can get with a full application that the actor model kind of supports and encourages.
Can you host those in containers and
oh
you're
my
off and
gosh,
running, right?
Keep going.
Well, that's what I'm trying to hear.
You're going to put them in containers, and then
Okay.
if you're putting them in containers and you want to isolate them and have them start and stop, you're going to want to run them in and
some orchestration, right?
What kind of will be a great orchestrator?
You could use AKS.
Bingo. And if you're doing AKS, that means it knows how to manage for memory optimization, processor utilization, spin up additional containers as needed, spin them down, put them in their own pods, put them on different machines, different hosts appropriately. Oh my gosh.
That sounds like something we need to do here.
That sounds like something we look at all the people outside there. Can you hear?
The crowd's going wild.
We're up too high. You can't hear them down. Chris was saying about the talk out in the parking lot. Outside in the parking lot below, you should hear them out there. It's insane. In fact, I can't quite see down.
We're up
so
we have
high.
to go so
You
high
can't
to get to the
see.
studio.
I'm sorry out there, ladies and gentlemen, but I can't tell you how high. I mean, it's the 20-something floor. Buildings don't go much higher than that because William Penn, Philadelphia, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
Even in your suburb.
yeah.
Well, they'll still measure out here. This you can't be higher than that.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody can
Absolutely.
be higher than William Penn.
No. Can't.
So,
What's going on out there, chat room? I haven't heard too much from you folks. What's going on? Talk to me
Well, we got the question about the Cosmos.
about Cosmos DB emulator.
Um,
Yeah.
and really just saying, what else is coming. I think why people get interested in the Cosmos DB emulator is that you can kind of play with Cosmos without spinning it up.
Sure.
Which
It can get expensive.
if you don't have Azure credits, or
Yeah.
maybe you don't have.
Absolutely.
Look
Look at this, I'm losing weight.
It can be a little more expensive. Yeah, that's all it takes. There's a lot of folks who in the chat room who immediately, and this happens all the time, is they hear about what's happening with .NET Core and .NET 5 and immediately lament .NET Framework as if like next week, like it's on life support or something. But .NET Framework is a component of Windows.
Yep.
Like Windows relies on it.
Yep.
So while we're not talking about adding new features,
Nope.
there's also this concept in software of something being mature
Yes.
and maybe even done.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think the other thing that'll happen with Framework, and I can't speak for them, this is just me guessing, is there are things that will happen in this world that will be super important to get to our older code. And the one that keeps popping into my head is someday we're going to have PLS 1.3.
Yes.
And I don't expect anybody who works for Microsoft. That's why I get to say this, right? Because I don't,
Go ahead,
so I
say
get
it.
to speculate.
Go ahead, say it.
That's important.
Keep saying it.
And when your code needs
Give it to me,
TLS
Chris. Come on.
1.3 because 1.2 is broken and the hackers have figured out that it's you can't use it anymore,
For sure.
then we're going to need a 4.8.1 to deal with.
Yep.
And there's going to be Microsoft code in Windows Server
Mm-hmm.
that needs it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like
Keep
this
coming.
is something
coming.
like, say, a Silverlight, which
Yeah.
in 2021 is done for, and you finally get to retire that thing and say, please don't ask us any more questions about it. It's not, and I know a lot of love here for
Go
Silverlight.
ahead.
That was some parking lot conversation today too. Was boy,
For sure.
I sure miss Silverlight.
Oh, please.
I heard it.
You
right
did
up from
not.
Mark Ziss. Mark Ziss. I heard
Liar!
it. And Mark, now I'll point him to this YouTube
Absolutely.
and say, Mark, you got to. I called him out and said, still loved it. So
Okay.
but what .NET, what we have today is this.
I'm
it's
trying to
not
keep up with chat.
fragmented,
Yeah.
right? But we have .NET Core, we have .NET Framework, we have
For sure.
Mono, and there's
Yes.
good things about all of them.
Absolutely.
And so with things like .NET Standard, we're finally at a place where I think Microsoft looked at it and said, wait a second, we don't need 3 of these.
Mm-hmm.
Because we worked so hard to ship the same set of APIs, or at least as much as we could in all of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, we knew portable class libraries was a thing that was painful to deal with, was really hard for folks to build and manage, and it meant that you needed to bring pieces of that other framework to the next framework. Hey, Ancient Coder, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us, and appreciate the hi guys there and the LOLs. But so portable class libraries was a real pain. So that's where I think .NET Standard and just saying this is a contract that you need to implement, and we're going to feel good about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like James Newton King, who writes JSON.NET, had to support portable class libraries to the point that I think he could only like take a dependency on string or something, and that was about all he had left. So
it was,
I mean,
it was a lot.
It was getting, if you wanted to write a library that had broad reach, it was getting really hard because you check more of those PCL boxes, and your API surface shrunk and shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. Heaven forbid you checked Xbox or something, and then it was all.
What's wrong with Xbox?
Well, back in the day, the Xbox .NET Compact Framework Portable Class Library API surface was small.
It was.
So you checked that, and you kind of went, shoop, right?
Yes,
but
absolutely.
That's because that was a miracle how they got .NET Compact Framework running on Xbox 360. Frankly, those engineers were heroes.
But you can run JSON.NET on Xbox.
On Xbox One, absolutely. I'm talking about the magic of PCLs and XMA, which was a fun time, and I think those kinds of learnings probably led to what we have now. Xbox One development's a lot of fun, by the way. And Rich and I have talked about how we get an Xbox One maybe hooked up here
and do some development.
Yeah, I've done it at home, and it's amazing. You have a lot of choice there. You can do Unity. You can do XMA,
it'd be really cool.
Monogame.
It'd be really cool if we could help some of the live coder folks that are doing game development. And I'm thinking particularly of our friends Tim Bodette and Lana Lux.
Yeah.
If we could get them some of the features that they need, some of the tools they need, so that they can target not just Steam but Xbox. That'd be kind of cool to be able to have some of those live coders, some of the folks. So I run the live coders team here on Twitch. Yep. Hi Twitch. I'm saying Twitch in a Microsoft office, wearing a Microsoft product on my head. Twitch. And it'd be great for those folks to be able to target Xbox and be able to deploy their games to those environments.
Yeah.
And I just don't know enough about it.
Yeah, Xbox Dev Mode's available today.
Okay.
It's available right now. You can use it on your
Help me out
commercial
here, Chris.
Xbox.
Help me out.
The limitations of it
are
that you do have to target UWP. And you also don't get the full hardware. Now, if you're just starting out learning game development, these are not limitations at all.
No.
And just because I said UWP, that means you could do C++ DirectX, you could do monogame, you could take the Unity sample right out of Unity, and because I did it, I just took the project, threw it on the Xbox, it worked. Controller started working right away.
So if I'm using Unity, I've bought some models from the Unity asset store. I can compile and deploy that with my own music, my own sound effects.
Xbox One. All you got to do is put it in dev mode. I say all you got to do. There's some documentation online. It takes a little bit of time, but I did it when this was announced at Build. It was announced on stage at Build. A Microsoft.
This might be a year or so
It was a few years ago.
Okay. Might have been
because I immediately ran to Carl and Richard and said, "Let's talk about this on .NET Rocks." But literally, I wish I could remember her name. I feel terrible. But the engineer for Microsoft who came out and showed how it worked, she uttered the words, "This is available now." I ran downstairs to my Xbox to activate it, and I was spending the rest of the Build keynote going, I want to get something working. And you can do more than just, it doesn't have to be Unity or Unreal. What I did for some fun is because UWP supports JavaScript apps, so I just said, what if I just took a static HTML page and used the phaser library? I'm not using any special WinJS.
No.
That was a thing at the time.
Nothing wrong with WinJS.
And nothing special at all. And I'm going to just use navigator get controller to grab my Xbox controller. I've got a video up on my YouTube channel where we got it all working, and my daughter tested out bouncing around. So what I'm getting at is that if you've got an Xbox One and you've got Visual Studio Community Edition, you actually have everything you need. You just pick your platform. Do you want monogame? Do you want Cocos 2D? Do you want Unity? Do you want Unreal? Do you want to just write some C++ DirectX? Like if Halcyon Tribble's out there tonight, he would be jumping for joy.
Okay.
Or maybe you want to do JavaScript gaming. And then could you deploy that into the Windows Store on an Xbox? You can. But then if you say, you know what, I really kind of want to publish through the Microsoft channels. Like I want to be on the Xbox. That's what ID at Xbox is all about, which is their independent gaming program, which any of us can join.
Yeah.
but I think what you want to do is you want to show up with a game.
For
Say,
sure.
hey, I got a game, and then and they ID at Xbox is any
you
of
need
us can
Xbox
join
support to light it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
They like what you're doing, and you'll get a lot of help there. So
Terrific.
I haven't gotten that far, but
I haven't either.
But I do agree. It's definitely and how great of a crossover is that with Twitch, right?
Exactly.
You've got folks there who love to play games, watch and learn about games, and then you see somebody making a game. That's the next big hit stream right there.
So you got to check them out. So there, like I said, I've got two friends on the Live Coders stream team, right? So if you go, you can find the Live Coders Twitch TV/team/Live Coders. But the two members that just joined us that are doing a real great job. There you go. Yep. Are Lana_Lux, and she's building. I forget her. Is it Into the Void? Is that the name of her new game that she's building? Really neat. And the other is Tim Baudet, and he's building racing games. His is more with C++ that he's working on. But they're both deploying to. There you go. Lana's broadcasting right now. And they're both broadcasting. Look at it. Tim's on live too right now. Look at that.
Great.
And it's for mature audiences only.
Sure.
We're not mature, so we're not going
now.
No, we've got the sound off, and but still, so it looks like what he's doing now is he's playing a game, but even the title says, right, searching for inspiration in a game from 2004, which of course we got to play games to.
Are you watching Tim's or
learn how to
Lana's?
make games.
Sorry.
That was
It was Tim's for a little bit there, just to see what he was doing.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Lana's typically working. Yeah, she's been doing a lot of 3D modeling recently because she's got to finish building the set for her game. Right? She's got this real immersive 3D game where you're walking around in a world, and you need to have your set, effectively the user interface for your application built.
Yeah.
Before you can dive in there and start really coding it up.
Yeah, and I think when I came in this morning, I was kind of setting the screens up in here, and Tim was on your channel.
Yeah,
and he was building what looked like either a runway or some kind of a piece of a street scene.
Yeah, I think he was building a racetrack today.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Really great stuff. All of the live coders they're folks that you might see speaking at user groups or at conferences that are talking to folks, encouraging, real positive space. We want to make sure that everybody's welcome. There are so many folks that want to learn about technology, want to get a job. And
how many times do you see that in chat, Jeff? Is in one of these live coding streams, yours or any other one that I visit, is somebody comes in and I hear this all the time. I see it all the time when I come to your channel. I'd like to learn how to code. I'm learning coding. Any tips for getting started?
Right.
There is a huge unserved audience that we're trying to reach here.
And what shouldn't be left, or we shouldn't skimp on here is that technical work, and there are live coder folks who don't just write code. We've even got folks that build hardware, build IoT stuff. We've even got her name's My Multi Extruder, who does 3D printing. She's got a 5-nozzle multi extruder. She's been offline for a little bit here. She's had a couple family things come up she needed to take care of. But she makes things, 3D models, live on stream. She kicks it off and has it start printing, and she'll walk away, and you get to watch the things be printed. But this is all technical, creative work. We should support the other folks that are doing creative streaming, creative work on Twitch, not just technical stuff. That's great. We've got our own genre that we want to keep things in, so we learn about the technical things. But you know what? The folks who are painting, they're doing some cool stuff too.
Yeah.
The folks that are doing drawing, that are building emotes or landscapes for new scenes, doing the 3D modeling for a game, that's intense creative work. We should continue supporting them, even though they're not quite technical creators. That's okay. They've still got a creative edge to them that we can learn from.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because especially one of the things that I used to always tell developers about making games is it can be the whole package of software development, graphics and sound, which a lot of us line of business developers never really have to deal with.
Dodge it like a bullet.
Right. And then you've got to come up really with your own software architecture that you're not going to find in a framework ready to go. And then nowadays, you're probably thinking about networking.
Yeah.
You're probably thinking about performance. I know these consoles and everything are getting super powerful, but that just means you up the ante.
Oh my gosh.
And so now you're back to the headspace of the console or hardware again.
Yep.
And it's like, this is the whole package of software development. You know, Skull Crusher brought up a great point, and I was super excited about this myself.
Yeah.
Is he said that he heard that middle school groups were being allowed into Build for free to promote STEM. I knew about the offer that said with a Build ticket, you could bring your child. I couldn't remember what the ages were. I didn't remember if it was 11 or 14. But the point was,
teen.
That was an amazing, fantastic offer that when my daughter heard about it, she said, "Can I go?"
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she's 8, but she's actually...
But it's on the other side of the country.
She's counting the years now,
so
saying,
she can go to
I want to go with Dad to Build.
Okay.
Because, and what's great about, you know, when you're active in the local development community, like Jeff is, and I am, and Rich are, then, you know, other people around you, they get inspired too. And so, like, I have my daughter saying, well, I want to go to the Microsoft meeting with you. And sometimes she does.
Cool.
Right. And at the same time, we know the stories of career changing adults who were inspired by the work just that they see us doing. And then we convince them that, like, really not that special. And we probably doubt ourselves every day.
Are you kidding? We're amazing.
So it's okay. You can do it too. And we know that we know that folks
so
can.
What the challenge that I feel with some of those in-person events and with bringing in younger folks is you need to set up different levels, different spaces so that you can accommodate everybody.
Yep.
So to be able to do that, and we needed more space for the folks that we had there, for the younger folks that we had there. We needed more content that was targeted towards them. What was there was tremendous, was absolutely amazing. To support that in a more complete way it's a little bit more of an investment, and I don't think that venue would have supported something if we did that for Ignite, right? At that scale, no way. I mean, of course, Ignite we already have at a different location, but if we had opened it up as widely to as many different topics as we have for Ignite, we would have had a real problem there in Seattle. They even capped the number of folks that were coming in for it. But when we think about other places and expanding and wanting to do more of a community learning event, right? Which I don't think Build really is that type of event for community learning and get people on the ground floor for training. Build has traditionally been, let's talk about the things that are coming soon, you know. But for that ground level training and getting folks, you know, retrained and learned on strictly developer skills, which to me is more like a mix type of event. Now we're talking. Now we could do something really cool in a different venue. Go to Chicago. Go to Atlanta. I wouldn't say go to Vegas. We want it to be family friendly. Not that Vegas isn't family friendly, but you know what I mean if you've been to Vegas, and you know what I mean. I would love to see in one of those other venues something that is more mix-ish that could support, you know what, bring the whole family, let's learn together, let's do fun things together. I think folks like Code Mash do a tremendous job with that. I think for our friends in the Poconos who run the Tech Bash event, they're trying to do that type of thing, and they've had great success with that.
Yeah, the Friday Kids Day was great.
Oh,
that was fun.
Year.
Terrific.
It was a lot of fun.
So I think there's a great place for that type of learning. And I think when you're watching us here on Twitch, the type of reach that we have here is that same type of thing where let's get outside of saying, hey, bring everybody to this location. Hey, you know what? We want to, you know, set up a space and everybody go do this. No. We're here. We're live. Yeah. You know what? Let's talk about something that everybody can understand, everybody can have fun with, and we can all benefit from. I've got friends that, not friends, I'm sorry, I've got viewers that tune in on Sunday mornings, and they've got us on Twitch on the big screen TV with their kids, and they're writing code together. That's there cool. In the family room. It's like, okay, that's cool. Yeah. That's a great experience that I think we want to encourage. And right when you do talk about traveling to a location, especially if you're taking your daughter right to Seattle, well, now you got to buy her another plane ticket. Oh, yeah. You got to buy. You got to take care of the hotel space. Not to mention, right where there might be networking things in the evening. Well, what are you gonna do with your daughter when there's a networking thing that's over at this location? And some of the nighttime events that happened at Build were in bars, might not be. So it's not just getting the event up to speed. There's also some of these other outside of the event things that not just the hosting organization, but the other folks that are starting the ancillary events around it, they need to accommodate too.
Yep.
I'd love to see some of that stuff come up to speed to encourage more young people to join us, because the young people are going to learn fast, and schools, particularly STEM courses in schools, are not going to keep up. They can't.
Yeah.
They don't have the resources to keep up as fast as I'm going to use the term agile, but I mean agile and nimble as we can.
Yeah, and so you pointed out that a lot of the conference, like that conference in
Which conference?
so the conference is called That Conference,
Which conference?
and I think it's in Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
And I
Dells.
think they are pretty well known for having a huge family turnout.
Very family friendly.
I want to say Idaho as well.
Well, hang on. So that conference is in Wisconsin, and it's in August.
Yeah.
So in the States here,
Right.
It's most folks are out of school. So
Tail end of summer vacation.
Exactly. So to say, you know what, let's go for a weekend to Wisconsin Dells, go to a resort and have a good time visiting and learning there. Tremendous.
Right.
There you go. August 5th through 8th, 2019 at the Kalahari Resort in lovely Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin.
So certainly what
Tickets on sale now.
Certainly what they did at Build might need some iterating. It is special, I think, to see Microsoft say,
oh my gosh, yes,
come join us. There's nothing wrong with the community events, and I shouldn't, what we do at Philly.net with Kids Can Code and things like that. Those are wonderful.
But let's contrast that with Google I/O. Google I/O, you can't even buy a ticket to unless you're invited. Like there isn't an open call for speakers. There isn't an open ticket sale. You literally have to be invited, and Google has to choose you to come to the event.
Yeah, there was a wildly popular open call for speakers at Build this year.
There was.
I don't know how many you selected. I'm not sure. Who would I know that might know how many were selected?
About 20% of the sessions that were delivered at Build, 10 to 20% were from community folk.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing, right?
When you're talking about a total of maybe 160 sessions.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
at the premier
20-30 sessions that were from about 10 to 20 sessions that were from community folks
at the premier Microsoft Developer Conference, and a conference that's near and dear to your heart, which we talked about today, .NET Conf in September. I know this is super important to Jeff because last year you pioneered a 24 hours of .NET Conf.
24 hours of .NET Conf. It was tremendous. Success. It was a huge success. We had almost 500,000 views throughout it. Thank you so much. There's the .NET Conf right there. September 23 to 25, 2019. First day is 8 hours going through Microsoft folks. We're gonna have a keynote from Scott Hunter and Miguel Diacaza and Mads Torgerson are gonna jump in. Hey, look, it's right there behind us, and you're gonna see all the great stuff that's coming with .NET Core 3. You're gonna learn all about C# 8. You're gonna learn all about the cool things happening with Xamarin from Miguel, and everybody likes to hear Miguel talk about all the cool things with Xamarin. And then you're going to have a full day of folks talking about Visual Studio, machine learning, AI, some of the Azure things you can do. And then we're probably going to, I don't know if it's been scheduled yet, but I think we're talking about doing an attendee party that night, a virtual attendee party. You've seen us do it before. And we'll probably do something like that. It's not on the books yet. And then the next day, we'll kick back off at, I think it's 9 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to go for 32 hours straight. 9 a.m. right through till 5 p.m. the next day.
Wow.
Yeah. So half-hour sessions, and we're going to have all kinds of folks come in doing, talking about all kinds of things. We'll have a little bit of Microsoft folks during the day, but we're going to drop in all kinds of community folks, every time zone represented. We want to have every continent represented. We want to have folks giving presentation in your own language.
Yes.
If you're in Brazil, give a presentation in Portuguese. If you're in Italy, give a presentation in Italian. If you're in the UK, give a presentation in English.
Yeah. Wait. But good.
Yes, right.
It's important. It's important to show that look, the .NET community is international.
It's international, and I want to make sure that when we talk about .NET Conf, we talk about giving great content to folks that are not just in Seattle, in the Pacific Northwest. Let's support those folks that are in other time zones. And I can tell you, it was really great to see the folks that were in Boston and Atlanta light up and give the first couple sessions in the States at 6 a.m. Pacific time. And here it's 9 a.m. in the East Coast. And we're like, hey, it's okay. It's 9 a.m. on the East Coast. Folks out here in the Philly area are like, this is fine. This is great. Meanwhile, the team that was hosting in the Pacific Northwest are like, "Are you kidding? I'm up at 6 a.m. to host this thing." Well, that's right, because it's what time over there? And I got to host. I hosted the graveyard shift as the organizer. I said, "Fine, I'll take the midnight to 6 a.m. shift." So here it comes to 4 a.m. in the Pacific Northwest, and I got to see all of our European friends light up. You know, coming from folks that were in Western Russia, in Italy, I even got the folks in Brazil. Were at the end of my shift before we handed over for the first speakers in the States. It was really neat to see how everybody in every continent, every time zone got to present in their own time. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, who wants to wake up at 5 in the morning to watch a presentation? But if you're up at 9 a.m. and you're watching a presentation and it's your own time and it might be 5 a.m. out in Pacific Northwest, who cares?
It was super innovative, and I know it was a
Thank
big
you.
success.
It was.
You-
Oh,
I
we're
mean,
thrilled.
You shared some numbers before that. They
Mhm.
were just absolutely huge, and it just looked
Huge.
like you were having a ton of fun.
Oh, we
so-
did. We had so much fun. And we're really looking forward to it this year.
And I'm sure having those guys who were kind of in the, like you said, the Eastern or the European time zone start to come online, that kind of gets you through those last couple of hours when you're,
You're absolutely right, Rich. Those folks in the Eastern time zone, the European Eastern time zone, lighting up, and as I'm walking in to host, and it's like, okay, and they're ready to go and having a great conversation with folks. I mean, through the power of the internet, we're talking to folks that are, thousands of miles away. It was amazing, and it was so energizing. Whether it was a lady who was giving a presentation from India, or there was a guy that gave a presentation from St. Petersburg, and he opened up his presentation by, in English, welcoming folks, and then he switched to Russian, welcomed folks, said a couple things, to encourage the Russian, audience, and then switched back to English for the balance of the time.
Oh, cool.
Tremendous. Everybody everywhere should be able to learn the technology regardless of language, time zone, location, and I might have a couple tricks up my sleeve to kind of level the playing field with languages this year.
Okay.
I've got some friends that are working on something that might be really cool to try for .NET Conf. We'll see.
Well,
Yeah.
the important thing, it's the language of .NET, right? It
Exactly.
doesn't matter what you speak, it's the language of .NET we're all speaking.
Absolutely. Just don't use those emojis in your code.
No, that's a good little.
I could think of some very interesting Azure services that might open up the door for people to enjoy,
you're
no matter what language they might speak.
Now you're
I
thinking.
suppose.
Oh yeah.
So that could be very, very interesting.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You did something. I think was it the Visual Studio launch that I remember thinking was so innovative and cool, where through the Visual Studio launch you were throwing it to live watch parties.
Yes.
And the first one was, if I remember correctly, was Mumbai.
Yes.
And what I loved about that is that we see events like Build and we see launch parties, and they're from Seattle, and it's the same boring people from Seattle, right? And here you were able to throw it out
blah, blah, blah.
to
Yes.
folks on another continent
Yes.
live,
Mm-hmm.
and I love the excitement.
It
that
is.
They were part of it, and that's what the .NET community should be about.
Yeah, and I would love to see that for .NET Conf if there's live watch parties that are going on out there, to be able to bring folks in and we need to figure out what that model looks like, but to be able to bring folks in from different continents, different cultures, it's great to see people that look different from yourself, right? If you're tuned in here and you're watching me, great. If you're tuned in from India and you're watching, that's cool too. But to be able to share some of our cultures, some of what makes us each unique, and to be inclusive like that. I don't care where you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what religion you are. Let's have fun and learn technology together. You know what? Great.
Yeah,
That's tremendous.
I thought that was really cool. And so
Thank you.
again, the innovation happening just in including the world as part of either streams or events that not necessarily you would traditionally think of as a streamed event, right? Here's the
No.
Visual Studio launch event. And it's like, hey, let's have people all over the world join in.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And-
we had Mumbai. We tried to get folks on from, I think it was Oslo. We tried to get folks in, but we weren't able to connect with them. We just missed. We got some folks from Minneapolis. We got some folks from Florida joining us for that event. I could have sworn there was one or two other international locations we tried to reach out to, and we just missed the connection. So we had to go to some of the other ones that we had. But it's it's encouraging to see all these folks out there, all these great folks that are enjoying the technology.
Yeah, and there's a call for speakers for .NET Conf. Maybe not open yet.
Not yet. It'll be coming
but
soon.
It is open.
It is completely open.
Yeah.
You're welcome to submit. It needs to interact with, because it's .NET Conf. You need to submit something that works with .NET.
Okay.
So we won't take that Python session. I'm sorry. Unless it works with .NET.
Yeah.
Right? So, but if you're going to show me Visual Studio Code with a little bit of .NET, how to do Blazor with Visual Studio Code, okay, cool. You're going to build an extension for .NET, for Visual Studio Code using Blazor, cool. You're going to do, I don't know, think about it. And you want to show that off, we're talking about half-hour time slots. We're going to firm up all the details for it. There will be a call for content. Look for it within the next month on .NETconf.com, I think it is. I keep getting that confused.
Yeah, .net
.com.
conf.com.
.net.
Yeah.
.net.
Is it .net?
Yeah.
Is
sorry,
it
I should
.net?
bring the
Oh.
other screen up. Hang on.
Okay. I always get it confused.
It's
.netconf.net. Yeah. We wanted conf.net.
Oh yeah, right.
Right? Then it's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make conf.net.
It's a darn internet.
Hang on.
Darn
Conf
.net.
period dot period net. Right? Huh? What do you think? That's not confusing at all.
Conf dot. Well, I mean, we already have the home of .net is dot.net.
So what if we did .net/conf?
Maybe, right?
Right?
Yeah,
That could be a
closer,
thing.
.net
right.
conf.
So it would be, yeah, except
Or-
punctuation.
Why not conf.net? Like conf.dot.net,
Right.
right?
Yeah, there you go. Right? So we just put a top level domain name. There you
Yeah.
go. Rich is thinking out there. Okay.
Sure.
What if we
is
did-
conf out there? Can we go buy that?
Is there a .conf top level domain name?
Well, I think if there isn't,
Somebody already bought it. Somebody just bought it. Look, the chat room just bought it. Ancient Coder says, yeah, that works, because she just went and bought it. Thanks.
I'm pretty sure that's the new TLD system, right? Is if it doesn't exist, you
There's a
somehow
.nf.
can become the registrar. Oh yeah.
So can we be .netco.nf?
Yeah. Possibly.
I don't know.
Or maybe we buy .net. Wait, .net.co.nf.
That was the,
That's weird.
yeah. That's
Okay.
possible.
But we could just buy the co.nf domain name, right?
We're inventing branding right here on our Philly Tech Talk.
I'm hoping
After
nobody
Show
else
here.
jumps in on this.
Right.
It's fine. Who's gonna buy a domain name out from under us?
I don't know.
I'm watching.
I think I have a story like that. So
It's
in any case,
happened.
yeah, it's happened. Has it happened
All
to
right.
you in the middle of your stream?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I want to make
Somebody
sure.
bought corewiki.com out from under me in the middle of my stream.
Okay, well, you're a host. Well, anyways, I was going to try to bring up. Let's see. Here we go. May. You're in the middle of May is for Max, which
I
means
am.
for most of the month.
Most
I
of
know.
the month.
I know you had a couple exceptions for good reasons, but for most
Yeah,
of the
they're
month,
called build.
you are. Yeah, you are using a Mac. You're showing that .NET. That .NET code worked just fine.
Yep.
I want to make sure everybody knows, if you aren't aware, and if you're watching this, you're watching this on YouTube on our
Yep.
archive.
Mhm.
That I've got Jeff Fritz here who streams 3 times a week, 4 times a week. I thought it might have been 4 on twitch.tv/C#Fritz. So you spell that out, C#Fritz, and you will see amazing pair programming with his community. And really, just thank you so much for joining us.
Cool.
And having fun talking about community and .NET and .NET in general.
So let me share one thing before we go. So you see check out the Blazor hat, right? And I didn't even check this out. The back even says Blazor.net on it. Look at that.
We'll zoom in on
Nice.
that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, zoom in on that. Look at that.
Can
Because
we?
now people won't believe I've got hair underneath that hat.
This is good. We
Look
got to
at
put that on the list that we need to be able to zoom in.
So that Jeff, you can see that
And
Jeff
we,
has
that
hair.
is as tight as we can get on that
That's
one.
nice.
So,
All right.
yeah.
So look, here's the deal. Over the weekend, we did a pair programming stream. There you go, with our friend Fierce Kittens, right? And she's a professional programmer, but on Twitch, most of the time she's working on her crafts, her art around sewing. But she sometimes writes code on Twitch, and we did a pair programming stream together using squad streaming on Twitch. Tremendous feature. And what we did was we took her GIFBot application and we updated it so it works not just in .NET Framework, but now in .NET Core 3. and we updated it as part of a sponsored stream to support St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. You'll see a lot of folks around Twitch that are doing all kinds of great things to support St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital as part of the Twitch Plays charity event. As part of that stream that we ran, you've seen me wear these different custom .NET hats. Last time I was on here with you folks, I had the Super C# hat. I have 4 different ones that I've worn. I've also got an Azure one, and I've got what's the last one? The Visual Studio one that we wore for the Visual Studio launch. We gave away 5 of those hats.
Nice.
I have to mail them out still, but we gave away 5 of those hats to folks who made very generous donations during that stream.
That's great.
And I'm encouraged by our community that's able to do that type of thing, and I want to see us as a community be able to continue to do those great things. And I even think when we think about something like Give Camp,
Right.
it'd be great to be able to do Give Camp and do a little bit here on stream, whether it's with the Philly.net folks, or it's on my channel, it's on Visual Studio channel. Collaborate together, and let's build something where folks can learn from it at the same time as we're doing something great for,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, but some organizations.
So like a lot of communities have give camps.
Yep.
And that's a common name for a weekend where developers get together, donate their time and expertise in order to build something, usually for nonprofit, and folks who probably couldn't afford that kind of developer time, right?
Yeah,
So
there we go. There's the chat. Oh, cool. I see that. Yep. So we have a livecoders.dev repointer there. Thank you, Ancient Coder.
Yep.
Yep. There's the video from the weekend. It was great. We had a lot of fun. I think that's something we can work on for. Well, Give Camp typically is in January.
Yeah.
So we've got time.
yeah.
Definitely.
So anyways, I love that we had some folks join us in the chat tonight.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate Jeff's time and the wonderful presentation we had at Philly.net. So make sure you check it out if you missed it on the archive at youtube.com/PhillyDotNet. Everything we do here is recorded there, and you can check it out. And if you're watching us from the future right now, then let me know what it's like, and let me know if who the Lakers drafted with the 4th pick.
Did the Phillies make the World Series this year?
Yeah, just let us know.
Let us know.
Leave it in the comments.
I've got a couple
and
bets I want to play.
and we can check that out. But every week when Philly.net meets, we have our after show, and we also stream those events. And then Rich and I host a Philly Tech Talk show Wednesday nights at 8:30, unless we can't make it Wednesday nights. But so the best place to look is the Twitch event, where we are putting our schedule, the Twitch events panel. The only reason why we would both love to commit to the same time every week, but darn it, with families and things like that, sometimes things happen, and then we have to say, hey, we got to push it off to another night.
It happens.
So
So I think with that next week, right? We're pushing
next
it back
week it's
one day.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week
Okay.
we'll be here Thursday, and it's
Because
after the
Wednesday
Philly
night you
Azure.
have that big SharePoint conference everybody's going to be watching.
Yeah,
Well, there's that. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a big thing next week.
We'll make sure
SharePoint
that
conference. SharePoint TV on Twitch. Make sure you check that out.
And it is just Wednesday.
No, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You're going to check out SharePoint TV on Twitch that Jeff is hosting.
I am.
And then
I am.
You did say you were, right?
I
didn't
am
get
hosting
that wrong.
it.
Okay, good. I was going to say, boy, I hope I didn't. I just picked that up from earlier. This is live, right?
This is live.
We pick up our production notes as we're talking.
Yes.
That's the amazing thing. And then we'll be right here after the Philly Azure meetup at 8:30 on Thursday.
There you go.
Keep up with the Twitch events panel. This Friday for Philly.net, thank you to Skull Crusher for Life, is Azure Data Fest.
Yes.
Which will
Very
be
cool.
during the workday here on the U.S. East Coast.
But you know what? You're going to get a notification when Azure Data Fest starts. If you hit that follow button up at the top of the Twitch stream here, or down below, you click the follow button on the Mixer stream, or over in the corner, you click that bell here on the YouTube
Subscribe
thing.
to YouTube, yep.
Or here on the Facebook, you hit the other thing over there. On Twitter, you follow.
I know. What a wonderful fragmented
Welcome to
social
the internet
world we live in.
All right.
Anyways, I want to thank you to Rich for hosting as always. Thank you to Jeff for being here, and thank you for listening. And we will see you next time here at the Philly.net channel.
See ya. Take care.
Thank you. I know.